Welcome back to the Fan Wire Podcast. I'm your host, Delano. Just want to let you all know that the drama jumped off today. Things hit the fan today. We're going to be talking about the DMV's darling, Kiyomi McMiller. Kiyomi McMiller is a standout freshman guard that plays for Rutgers University. She's a phenom. She is the equivalent of Jamal Crawford, Kyrie Irving, and Allen Iverson in a young lady spot. She doesn't play around. But some things transpired in the last couple days, and then it just manifested as something serious today. So let's jump back. Last Thursday, Rutgers played University of Maryland at the University of Maryland. And the Fan Wire Podcast, we were physically in attendance at the game. So we saw exactly what was going on. The game started off pretty good. It was Cheyenne Sellers and Kiyomi McMiller, they were going back and forth. They were checking each other. So they both accepted the challenge. They both were offensively taking it to each other and to the opposing team, as well as guarding each other as being the top players in the game. But as things transition in the game, those defensive assignments did go away. But they both were dynamic in the game. Kiyomi McMiller, she was doing her thing. She was the only scorer for Rutgers. She brought the ball up. She initiated the offense. She got other players involved. And she was aggressive. So that means she was shooting threes. She was taking to the rack. She did have 7 turnovers, but at the same token, she had 14 points. Could she have handled the ball better? Yes, definitely. But she's not a point guard. She is a 2 guard. Kiyomi has always said she's a 2 guard. So, if your team needs you to step up and do certain things, hey, that's what she showed. She showed that she was able to step into a role that she may not feel is the best suited for her talents. But at the end of the day, she did what the team needed. So let's jump forward in the game. Into the second half. She takes the inbound, dribbles up the court with only a few seconds left, pulls up like Steph Curry from the logo, splash, splash. It's like, whoa, tough. So you're starting to feel the momentum could possibly change. But I'm not sure what happened at halftime. I'm not sure if it was something that transpired earlier in the game between the Coach Williams and Kiyomi. I'm not sure. But what I do know is after the second half, Kiyomi McMiller, she came out and only played 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. In the previous video, I'm going to say it again. We didn't know if she was hurt. We didn't know if she was sick. We ain't know what transpired. We just know that we kept seeing Kiyomi on the bench. And Kiyomi was the lifeline of the team. We just didn't understand what was going on. We didn't know what we were witnessing. And then when we looked at it, I actually started to think maybe she was sick because I didn't see anything that, like an injury or, anything like that. No training staff working on her or anything. I did see her. I believe she was sitting with one of the assistant coaches for a good portion of the third quarter. So I'm not sure what those conversations were like. But maybe it was one of those conversations of, explaining why something is happening. Or things are going to be okay. Don't worry about it. It'll blow over. I'm not sure. But I do know that all of the attendees, and I'm a Merlin fan, but I'm also a Kiyomi McMiller fan because she is from the DMV. She is from Silver Spring, Maryland. She's one of us. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about her, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. We're going to talk about all that she is gifted, all her gifts, and how she cooks on the court. We're going to talk about it because she's one of us. But to jump back into the topic, Kiyomi stayed on the bench for the whole third quarter. Each quarter is 10 minutes. So she played actually probably, it seemed like it was close to about 5 minutes of the second half. It was we just didn't see anything. But we're just waiting. Okay, Kiyomi's coming back in the game. Then it's like, the quarter's in. Kiyomi still has not re-entered the game. Okay, fourth quarter. They're getting head busted. Rutgers is getting beat bad. So if Merlin would have stayed on the gas and didn't take out Sellers and other players and let different team members and teammates that don't quite get enough time or get time in the game, it would have been way worse of a score. So jumping forward, fourth quarter, didn't see her coming back in the game. At that point, it was a little too late anyway. The game was out of hand, out of reach. But we didn't know what's going on. So at the end, when I got home, and even the next day, I was looking for the Rutgers press conference to see if there were any insights, so we get some kind of idea of what happened, what was going on, just something. Just say, hey, it's my decision that Kiyomi doesn't come back in the game. Cool, all right. But that leads us to today. Today, Rutgers was set to play USC. USC that has JuJu Watkins. And USC is, I believe, ranked number 4 in the country. So this game was billed as top notch. This was a must-see game. There were plenty of people that flew in to watch the game at Jersey Mike's Arena at Rutgers University. Stars were out at the game. Rappers was at the game. But there's no sight of Kiyomi. At the end of the day, Kiyomi put out earlier that she wouldn't be playing via Instagram. Not because of her. No. She stated that it was because of a coach's decision. So that made waves. Everybody started talking about it. You know, articles popping up. It was a talk. Twitter was going off. Instagram was going off because a lot of people were looking forward to watching this game on Sunday night because it was box office. You had JuJu Watkins, you got Kiki, and all the young ladies from USC taking on the young phenom Kiyomi McMiller, and people were looking forward to that. But for some reason, unbeknownst to us, Coach Williams decided that Kiyomi wasn't going to play for whatever the reason. You know, coaches do that all the time. Coaches have their reasons why individuals don't play, whether that's professional down to Pop Warner Rec League basketball. Happens in every other sport as well. And you just take it on the chin. That's what we have been accustomed to. The player doesn't have typically a platform traditionally to speak out against being benched or anything of that nature, especially not a college player. But it's a new age. You got NIL. You got platforms where a player can speak directly to their fans, directly to the people, without a filter. The filter of the organization, the filter of the university, the filter of everything else. They can speak directly and get their message out. And Kiyomi did that today and was highly effective, extremely effective. After knowing or being made aware that Kiyomi wasn't going to play, that really kind of ruined my enthusiasm for watching the game. I'm a JuJu fan too, but I can honestly say I'm more of a Kiyomi fan because she's home. She's home. She's home cooking. She's home cooking with mambo sauce on the side, all over the wings, whatever you want to do. If you're from the DMV, you know the significance of what I'm saying. She's homegrown. She's home cooked. So we root for our own. So to see that happen, you just hope that the coach got a good reason. You know, hopefully it's a legit reason. Some of the things that I did notice was there was a lot of support for Kiyomi. Whether it's your casual fan or super fans of Rutgers or super fans of just college women's basketball, there were a lot of people that were disappointed in not seeing this game. A lot of people. We, as the collective, we wanted to see it. We wanted to see those two juggernauts go head to head. We wanted to see how the young phenom matches up with the heir apparent of the next greatest thing to come out of college basketball. We was looking forward to it. We was looking for it. But we felt like we got robbed. We did. But then on the flip side, you do have others that was riding for the coach and didn't agree how Kiyomi relayed that she wasn't playing. Um, I think that it would have been it wouldn't have been as it wouldn't have been as easy to swallow, no pun intended, if we were made aware at the tip off of the game, or the fans that were coming to the game were made aware at the tip off of the game. People would have been totally upset. Totally upset. They had a packed crowd. The capacity is 8,000 people in that arena, and they sold over 7,400 tickets for this game. Almost completely sold out. And maybe it was a good thing that the public was made aware that this matchup wasn't going to be what it was supposed to be. This matchup was on national television. During the press conference after tonight's game or yesterday's game, Coach Williams said something to the effect that they were in a tough stretch of games, and she wasn't sure if it was intentionally done or not, because they had to play 3 top-ranked teams within like a week's time span. And with that being said, it's like, hey, it is what it is. You have a young phenom, so people want to see her play against the top teams. That's what you get when you get top tier talent on your basketball team. You're going to have to play other top tier talent. You're not going to be playing, programs that are not gifted. You're going to be playing top tier competition. It is a given. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to know what's coming. So you get no passes for that. You have to know what's coming. So with that being said, after tonight's after the game against USC, there was a Rutgers press conference, and during that press conference, Coach Williams said a few things that resonated with me. That stuck out to me. During the press conference, one of the reporters wanted to know more about what occurred and the reason why Kiyomi didn't play. And Coach Washington was very clear that the specifics of the issue were going to be held and kept internally regarding Kiyomi, which I respect. That's boilerplate language when it comes to these type of situations from any coach or any manager or anything like that. That's what it should be. You shouldn't be airing your dirty laundry or situations to the media. And that's just to keep peace. And also to ensure that things don't become out of control. So, good job. That's what you're supposed to do. Did we want more? Does the public and the fans want more? Of course. But Coach was doing her job at that point. Um, Additionally, coach stated that uh, it's more than just a game. It's about more than just a game. It's about growing and impacting the young women that are in her care. It's more than what's happening on the court on game day. That's true. That's respect. It definitely is. Um, but when it comes to a player's character or a coach's character, it's very impactful that you know you're able to give some type of insight as to what happened. But at the same token, is you got to keep things professional. You got to keep things at a certain level. So it is what it is with that. Um, One more thing that coach said, she wanted to, or one of her main goals is to build character and to grow young ladies into, or teenagers, typically what she said, into womanhood. And it's also important about her decision making. So that was definitely one thing that she said regarding Kiyomi. Um, it was She alluded that it is something regarding decision making. So I wonder what occurred. So that did give some type of viewpoint into what happened, but it's extremely vague, not clear. But it's definitely appears to be something that occurred. Um, was Kiyomi right? Who knows? Was Coach right? Who knows? We both know, and we all know who has the last word. Coach, because Kiyomi sure didn't play. Kiyomi wasn't even on the bench. So I wonder what happens next. That's one of the key questions. What happens next? Where do they go from here? X's and O's. Where do they go from here? Because without Kiyomi, who do they have to bring the ball up the court? Who can effectively handle the pressure? Who can initiate the offense? Who, who? USC beat Rutgers today without Kiyomi, 92-42. That's 50 points. They lost by 50 points. That's a lot of points. Then on top of that, this was the worst loss in Rutgers history for women's basketball. Rutgers traditionally over time was the benchmark of winning for women's college basketball. This doesn't look good. And you have a top flight player that could have helped on national television, but that player wasn't available for whatever the reason. It doesn't appear to be school related because that would have been a clear, that would have been something clearly said and articulated to the public and to the fans that Kiyomi's not playing because of school, this and the third. So, and that's something that's been said about many players over time, and they have no problem with saying it. So we know we can X that off. It's definitely not school related. So it comes back to the decision, and also where do they go from here? Because it's going to be some decisions that's going to have to be made. Kiyomi is going to have to determine what she's going to do as she goes forward with her college career. What's she going to do? Additionally, My question is Kiyomi still on the team? Um, According to Rutgers rosters, she is, but you know, I wish one of the reporters at the press conference would have asked, "How long is this going to go on? Is Kiyomi suspended? Is she still on the team?" Those type of questions. I wish that would have been. So hopefully those will be asked going forward, um, because it's kind of seemed like it's indefinite. Like this is going to just go on. But who knows, right? We're all in limbo here. Um, because I want to see Kiyomi do well. So if that means Kiyomi does well, that means Rutgers doing well, right? So supposed to go hand in hand like that. But you know, she could be productive in a team not win. So that's true. Too. So I guess there's two things could be true. Yeah. But anyway, decision making. So where does Rutgers go from here? Where does Kiyomi go from? So this is the age of the transfer portal. Where does Kiyomi go from here? Does she transfer to another team? Does she stay with Rutgers? Will Coach Williams be the coach going forward at the end of the year? Because if you lose a top prospect for whatever the reason, I'm pretty sure that other top prospects are looking. They're paying attention. There's a reason why Merlin has a former Rutgers player, and she did quite well at Rutgers. She scored a lot of points at Rutgers, but she decided she wanted to transfer. There are plenty of people that transfer for whatever reason, number of different reasons, but it's ironic that that occurred. And then there's an issue with Kiyomi. So I wonder if that would be the next thing. I would love for Kiyomi to come home and play for Merlin. They do have a lot of players that will be transitioning, whether graduating, or through the transfer portal, because everybody loses somebody, everybody pick up somebody. It would be great if she comes home, because if she comes home and plays in Maryland, that arena will be packed all the time. I mean, all the time, because the word gonna travel fast in the DMV, and people gonna be at those games. So it would be great if she came home. So, or even if she went to a totally different school, because I'm sure that there are a gang of schools lining up for her service, and I'm pretty sure that that Kiyomi will start on a lot of teams, almost teams. So I wonder, where does everyone go from here? If Kiyomi's not playing the remainder of the year for Rutgers, you can count your last dollar that they won't win another game this year, unless they're playing someone that is not that's someone on the lower tier of college women's basketball. So I'm not sure what their schedule is looking like the rest of the way, but it's a very, very strong. It's very, very strong that Rutgers won't win another game. It's very possible. Then it comes to the off season of, hey, why did we lose so many games? I can understand if you're competing. I can understand if you're in games. I can understand if you have a star player that's producing and you just need to add more pieces around her. That can be understood. But when you don't have the pieces, you're trying to rebuild, and then you lose your main piece, guess what? That's not going to sit well with a lot of people. And this is the era of NIL, along with a transfer portal. So Kiyomi is paid. She is she was actually the very first high school player that signed with Team Jordan. It's very rare that you even have. You are in great company as being signed to Team Jordan when it comes to professional basketball athletes, basketball players. It's very few people that can say they've been signed to Team Jordan. A lot of people have been signed to Nike. A lot of people have been signed to Reebok and all these other sneaker companies. But it's very few. It's a small group of people that can say they've been signed to Team Jordan, not alone doing it as a high school basketball player. Really? Come on. What are we talking about? So, where did we go from here? I wonder. What do you think we're going from here? What do you think? What do you think Kiyomi's next move is? Do you think that Kiyomi will be playing in the next game? Do you think this is the end of Kiyomi playing basketball at Rutgers? Do you think this is going to be the end of Coach Williams at Rutgers? Or will Coach Williams be able to get some lemonade out of this lemon of a situation? Will she? Will she be able to get this train back on track? Will she? I'm not sure if they believe that they're going to be able to get this back. Because if they lost Kiyomi, that program is set back. I can't even say how many years. I really can't. Because if they are using or if they're going to have Kiyomi as a centerpiece and how they're going to recruit in the future, whether they're having players coming from high school or they have players coming from transfer portal, what are you going to do? How are you going to be able to convince someone that this won't happen to them? So, was this a good decision? Or was this a bad decision? I wonder. I really, really wonder. Was this a good decision or a bad decision? I'm really kind of thinking it's a bad decision. I'm really, really thinking it's a bad decision because if it wasn't what's the goal? What's the silver lining here? I don't get it. I don't see the win. Understand that being a coach, you got to put your foot down. You got to say, hey, it's going to be my way or the highway. But now, since you have transfer portal, that highway got many exits. a lot of U-turns. Somebody don't got to stay in your fast lane or your slow lane. They can get off. They can make a detour. And I'm starting to feel like Kiyomi is going to be making a detour. Got a feeling she could be out the way. You know, this was going to be a today was a very, very was going to be a very, very important day for the program, for the Rutgers program. But it wasn't maximum. You had your program on national television going against JuJu Watkins. Everybody knows JuJu. And if you had your freshman guy coming in there and giving work to JuJu, do you know how Rutgers would have been being talked about? You know how Kiyomi would have been talked about? And that is going to make other players want to come there too. Whether they're high school or out of the training. It's going to make you want to come there too. But, you know, sometimes you got to put your foot down and you got to weigh, was it really worth it? Was it that important that you put your foot down right here now? Something you got to really think about. You got to, somebody might be losing some sleep tonight. Or somebody might be sleeping really, really well. Now the question is, who is sleeping well? Who might not be? I'm more on the train that Kiyomi's sleeping real well. Because at the end of the day, she can move on. She can go do what she wanted to do. She can go play with somebody else. And coach might be on the hot seat. They might not be sleeping well. But we'll see. Again, USC dragged Rutgers today. Score was 92-42. JuJu Watkins had 23 points. USC put the clamps on Rutgers. Rutgers had a total of 27 turnovers. And that led to 38 points off the turnover. 37 fast break points. That means that you cannot bring the ball up the court. That's a clear sign to me that you can't bring the ball up the court. You needed McMiller. You needed him. From what I saw in the game against Maryland, there was only one ball player that you have that can consistently bring the ball up the court. But if they put the pressure on or they trap the young lady, who's she going to get a ball to? Who's going to come to the ball to help her out? Who's going to be in the right spots to get the ball so you can push the ball forward? Who? I didn't see, but maybe one or two that can help out, but not be relied on to bring that ball up. So you could be shooting yourself in the foot with this one. Really, that could be. You shot yourself in the foot. So, we'll see how it goes. It's probably going to be the last time that Rutgers on national television in a long time. Not sure if they have any other games scheduled for this year that's going to be in prime time. But going forward, unless they fix this, they're not going to be on nothing but being streamed on Rutgers platform. Let's see. Anything else to talk about during this game? USC definitely out rebounded the team, so you know it is what it is. Rutgers is 0-4 in the conference and is currently 8-7 overall. So I think that some people need to get things together. There'll be some conversations that need to be had. Y'all need to figure it out and get that young lady back on the court. Because at the end of the day, this doesn't look good for your program at all. At all. If I had a daughter, I would want her to be held accountable if things are going wrong. But I still want the best for my daughter if I had a daughter playing college basketball for any program. And if the issue did not warrant the response, she'd be out of it. Transfer portal. Let's go. Pack them bags, figure out another school, go get you to a new destination. But, when it comes to Kiyomi, one of those things. We don't know what's up. On Twitter, there may have been some family members that said, hey, transfer portal, transfer portal. I may have saw it. So, get ready, get ready, get ready. I hope somebody got that bag for. Not saying that that's what's going to be required in the transfer portal, but, do what's needed to be done to secure the title. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Merlin, Turpin, ladies basketball, women's basketball. Do what you need to do. Bring the young lady home. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. This is Delano signing off from the FanWire podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like the video. Make sure you share the video too. Definitely leave your comments. And you'll be hearing from me soon. We're here in the DMV. We're expecting a whole lot of snow. So I'm going to be pushing out a whole lot of content because the brother ain't going out this door. So, again, it's Delano signing out. Have a good one. And where do they go from here? Let's see.